She'll give us a little update on some of the events coming up here at Saratoga over the next week or so. But to start the show, really happy to have our friend Tom Durkin on the set. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Seth. How you doing, brother?
Very good. Happy to have you on here. And of course, we are a season and 4 race days away from your last Saratoga call. Give us a little update. How's the calling retirement going?
Good. I'm retired from calling, but pretty much not retired from anything else. I've been pretty busy. But yeah, since August 31st, 2014, just been, a very busy last year doing a lot of stuff, a lot of traveling with the retirement thing, this award, that award, and here and there. But calm down a little bit this year, and yeah, so it's all good. I'm keeping pretty busy.
Yeah, when I caught you over here the other day and said, "Can you come on with me Monday?" You pulled out your phone with the schedule.
Oh God, this iPhone! Oh my God, it's just.
It was not only a problem getting it plugged in, but it was a problem getting it plugged in because of the number of things you got going on this month. Retirement is with quotes.
Yeah, it is in quotes. Yeah, just. And the fact that I work on the cheap now is doesn't help it.
I went out on the internet last night and I was looking around for some of the things you were doing so you could talk about them. One of the things, just generally, you're now kind of a year-round or much of the year Saratoga resident, and you kind of plugged yourself in the holiday season up here last year, and I think we have a shot. You were part of the homemade theater, the Miracle on 34th Street. Talk a little bit about that.
There's Mr. Macy. He was really prissy. And I had 3 parts in the play. It was Miracle on 34th Street, if you know the play or the movie. And so I was Mr. Macy. He was, actually, it wasn't really a comic role as it was written, but I kind of turned it into a comic role. It was fun. And then I had to actually act for that. But the other 2 parts they gave me were a drunken Santa Claus and a radio reporter. So, yeah, that was great fun.
Yeah, and as I say, it's homemade theater right here in Saratoga, so we got you plugged into the community.
Yeah, they do a really good job there as far as community theaters go. It's the theater's right in the spa park. It's a proper theater, a proscenium stage, and they do a great job. And they also now have Saratoga Opera there. It used to be the Lake George Opera, and they have I went to see an opera there. I went to Opera Weenie, and I went there a couple weeks ago, and the opera was really first rate.
And speaking of being over there in the park, you have an event coming up at SPAC as well, tied in with the orchestra.
Oh yes, August 10th. Let me consult my iPhone here. August 10th. Yeah, we'll be with the Philadelphia Orchestra. I did it 2 years ago. It's a night of music that revolves around horse themes and things like that. So yeah, I'm performing a thing called The Horse. I'm right up on stage with the orchestra, which is really cool. And there's a big movie screen behind me, and they flash all these different images of. It kind of follows the path of man and horses. They communicate to each other over the centuries, eons, So yeah, it's great fun.
Yeah, Ride of the Valkyries is part of it. William Tell Overture is
William
part
Tell
of it.
Overture.
All horse related.
Yeah.
Have you done it before?
Yes, I did 2 years ago. It's my piece runs about 9 minutes.
Nice. So again, that's August 10th. You can check the SPAC schedule for more information there. But swing on by. Sounds like a nice night. Let's also talk a little bit, as I say, you're a season and a few days away from your last Saratoga race call, which was your last call overall. You had a great, long career. I'm just curious, are you like the football quarterback who watches the Super Bowl and thinks, I can still throw that touchdown? But are there any points where there's a twinge where you look at a big race and miss it?
Not really, no. I just... been there, done that. I really don't like looking at the old replays because I think I'm going to make a mistake. You knucklehead, you did this. This is it happened 20 years ago. You can't make a mistake now. It's videotape. So, yeah, no, I have no real desire to do it again.
And again, it was an illustrious career. And for folks who want to, there are plenty of calls out there on YouTube. No mistakes. You were one of the best for a long time. Long time while you.
No, the bad thing about the internet, your mistakes are on there, and you can't get rid of them. It's like the nuns used to say in school, "I'll put that on your permanent record, Tom Durkin." Like,
there were many of them, though. There are some classic calls out there. And do you have, I hate to say best, worst, those kind of things, because picking the one is a little bit different, but maybe 2 or 3 are your favorite calls?
I don't really do it in terms of calls. That's a little bit too much patting yourself on the back. But I did, was witness to some very, some of the great races. Real Quiet and Victory Gallop and the Belmont. I had 9 tries to call a Triple Crown winner. 9 times I walked into that booth at Belmont Park thinking, you're going to call a Triple Crown winner today. I retire, and what happens? Next year, first time in 38 years, a guy gets to call a Triple Crown. I'm in a traffic jam on the New York Thruway listening to it on the radio.
Yeah, well, there is the serendipity of the game. But I know you're a big race fan, as you allude to, and you've been involved in the game over on the harness. What's your chorus? I'm not going to.
Coraggioso, yeah.
And so you had a really nice harness horse. Tell us how you're involved in the game now. I know you're tied into West Point Thoroughbreds a little bit, so how you still
yeah,
keep
I
in
just
the
do a
game?
little public relations work with West Point Thoroughbreds, a little bit of listen and a little bit of that. I don't really get any calluses on my hands doing this. I've never broken a sweat representing them, so it's all good.
And
I own some portions of some of the horses that they're.
And on the harness side, you still involved?
We still have our Coraggiosos at stud now in Ohio.
Oh, so you're going to get parts of the babies?
In like
or
5 years from now.
You're getting the stud fee.
We're getting the stud fee, yeah.
There you go, yeah.
But it really doesn't, that's a long-term business, that breeding business.
But if it works out well.
If it works out well, I'll tell you in 5 years. I hope I can tell you in 5 years.
Let me go back, and I'm curious, do you remember your first professional call?
Yeah, the Wyawega County Fair, the Fond du Lac County Fair, 1971.
Where was that?
In Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. And horse, I'm pretty sure it was a horse, but the animal was called Brownie, and he didn't really have a real name. Well, we just call him Brownie, so yeah.
And then take us through the career. How do you go from a county fair to get to NYRA?
Oh, just a lot of luck, a bit of work. I got a job with the racing form. I figured if I was up in the announcer's booth and the announcer got sick, I would bravely run in and fill in and take over the job. Didn't work out exactly like that, but then just from the smaller tracks, I used to count how many tracks I worked at, everywhere.
Did you call harness racing at all?
Yes, I called the Meadowlands for 7 years. Actually, to think of it, maybe the most exciting race I ever called was the Hambletonian. It was run back then as a heat racing. You had to win two heats. And so this year, that particular year, it came down to 2 horses, Probe and Park Avenue Joe. It was a match race. It was the 4th time they raced that afternoon, and it finished in a dead heat. The odds are astronomical.
Because they would have the heats, and then there would be the third race
The third
would
would
decide it, and if
race
it didn't
off and
decide
no one
it,
did
then
it.
they'd go to the match race. And
Yeah.
so then it winds up in a dead heat?
Dead heat.
That's incredible.
A match race in a dead heat. That's just impossible.
Yeah, that's incredible. Tom, I know we'll put you on at the top of the show because on racing days you've got an assignment over at the Racing Museum. Update us on that a little bit.
Yeah, every day at 11 o'clock we do tours, guided tours. I'm the guide, and take you around the museum, and there's a lot of interesting stuff in there. We limit it to 12 people every day, and I'm really enjoying it. I enjoy doing the research and finding out more stuff about the game, the history of the game, and the people are really, really nice. And so it's good. I really enjoy doing it.
And from what I understand, the response has been good so far.
Good, yeah.
Yeah. So again, check out the Racing Museum for that. You can get the tour with Tom. SPAC coming up on August 10th. Homemade Theater maybe next holiday season.
Yeah, they've got some shows coming up. I would like to do some comedy. I can't do musicals because I can't sing. So they do.
This was in your background, right? Which
I was a
you
theater
couldn't really
major
do
in
it while
college.
you were calling races. But
No, but I was a theater major in college. Did a lot of plays. In the fall, they have a musical. Last year it was Chorus Line. And then around Christmas time, they have a Christmas play. That was the play I was in, Miracle on 34th Street. Then in the spring, early spring, winter, they do a drama, and that was last year's Cat in Hat and Roof. And somebody said, "You should be Big Daddy." And then in the spring, they do a comedy that was Calendar Girls, which was about a group of old ladies that stripped down naked for a calendar, and I really wasn't involved in that. In any way.
Well, before we let you go, again, Homemade Theater, you've melded into the community, but give us a little bit of an idea how you like being mostly a year-round resident in Saratoga.
I love Saratoga. I mean, I could live anywhere I wanted, Not married, and I'm really not tied down to anything in that particular way, but I love living in Saratoga. I love walking out of the house every day. It's just a great spot. The people are just wonderful. The history of the town and it just the ambiance year round. It's just great. I wouldn't live anywhere else. But when the snow flies, I fly. I just look stupid. Okay.
Did you partake of the waters?
I take the baths.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, I take the baths. One of the big secrets of Saratoga is the Roosevelt baths. If you're a local resident, you can take a 45-minute mineral bath for $20. It's great, and I get in there. You got your own dark room, the bathtub, and then I get the headphones, and I do hypnosis in there. I'm just floating around.
And
you
the
walk out
water's
of it.
effervescent, correct?
No, it is not. No, it's actually brownish because there's so much iron in there. But there's all sorts of minerals in there, and what that's the kind that one of the first things you'll learn when you move to Saratoga. There's spring water and there's mineral water. Don't drink the mineral water. They might tell you it's really good for you or whatever, but
yeah, well, brown's probably not going to be too appealing.
yeah, you don't want the brown.
Yeah.
No. If you go to the track here at the big is it the big red? Yeah, the big Red Spring. I live across the street from the old Red Spring, but the big Red Spring. People go there, take a sip of one, they go, oh, it's very, very high in sulfur.
Yeah, you can tell the first timers over there who go for the big gulp and realize.
I suppose it has some salutary effects, but you got to get it down first,
All right, Tom, we'll let you go because we know you have to get over to the museum for today's tour. Again, folks can check around. You have a number of events. You're going to be emceeing the jockey karaoke again?
Yes, if I can consult my iPhone, I believe that's Monday, August 1st. Yes.
And we'll alert people to that as well.
Yeah, it's a fun night. That's a really
absolutely.
fun night. The jocks put on a great show, and yeah, it's really fun. It's I do a lot of these events during the meeting, and it's the most fun and the one if you're going to pick one, that'd be one to go to.
Yeah, as I said earlier, retirement in quotes, because Tom has events all throughout the season. So if you're around town, you'll have a chance to see him not only around town at events, but on the scooter as well.
Don't call it a scooter; it's a Vespa.
I didn't know there was a social hierarchy among those.
Please. I love my Vespa.
So
yeah, it's hard to park around Saratoga, so
not with that.
I park it anywhere.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So watch for Tom again out at SPAC on August 10th over at the museum on racing days. You get your chance to interact with Mr. Tom Durkin. Tom, we appreciate the visit this morning.
Thanks, Seth.
All right.
Great. Good seeing you.